Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is the Big Girl Diary. We're going to get a little deeper in what occurred in Texas and also in Buffalo, New York. There's a lot more behind it. Now that we had a chance to take a step back and take a breather and started to process this, because this is tragic. But outside of the tragedy, let's take a real look at what has occurred and how can we change it. Okay, I have a clip that goes a little deeper into it, but also I would like to change it to where we can look at the real corporate. And that person is a Ronald Reagan. You're probably like, what? Yeah, Ronald Reagan. And I did a video several months ago about this when what's his name? Ethan Crumbly. When he was in, not Wisconsin, Michigan. And when he went into the school and shot up several of the students within the school, we're going to revisit that in order for you to have a better understanding of what's going on down there in Texas. Different state, same thing. All right. Now, let's look at the YouTube video real quick. It's a small clip, and then we can sort of break it apart.
And I don't see this covered.
Oh, no.
Out there. He would hurt animals. He was not a good person. He would go to the parks and try to pick
I didn't mean this to happen. I thought I had
Ronald
stuff together.
Was a boy who was not bullied. He would try to pick on people but fail, and it would aggravate him. I would like.
Okay. Oops.
You see this app right here? It's called Audible. Using just this little app on my phone, I was able to replace my full-time.
Let's get more about the investigation, including new details about the gunman and the safe security measures in the Uvalde School District. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, is outside.
Okay, now when he said safe security measures, no, that was not true. That was not true. I did, let me see, a live stream on my other channel, Politics with Laura, to where I just let go. I let go. And there is a federal law to where police officers or any government agency, people that work within that, do not have the responsibility or do not have the constitutional responsibility for saving anyone's life. It's up to them. Up to them. So, let's make sure we get that understanding. Now, let me go ahead and continue on with this.
Gunman's home. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Michael. That rampage began in that house just behind me. The suspect allegedly shooting his grandmother first. Now, law enforcement officials tell me that the suspect purchased both of those AR-style rifles just 2 days before the shooting legally. The investigation now focusing on whether he had accomplices and whether this was pre-planned in any ways and how the suspect managed to slip through all of the guardrails in place in this community meant to stop an attack just like this. This morning, authorities telling ABC News the shooter legally purchased 2 AR variant long guns within a week of his 18th birthday.
What happened,
Pay attention to his face. I'm going to go back to this, okay?
Horrific tragedy.
Legally purchased 2 AR
Look at
variant
his
long
face.
guns within a week of his 18th birthday.
What happened in Uvalde is a horrific tragedy.
Oh, I'm struggle streaming on something that's pre-recorded. Oh, man. Okay, let me move it to what the girls were talking about. Listen to what they're saying. Just listen. Oh, come on.
Suspect was known for fighting and threatening classmates. Nathan Romo, who had witnessed part of the shooting, had once been friends with him. What did you do to prompt him to say, "I'll kill you"?
Nothing. I used to be his friend, but then I told him that I was gonna start being his friend no more because he was being weird with not only me but a lot of other people.
Several classmates telling us the suspect rarely went to school, and when he did, he sometimes frightened students like Ureli Vasquez.
He had scars on his face, and I remember somebody asking him, what happened? Are you okay? Because he showed up to school with them, and he just straight out told them, with a smile, I did it myself because I like how it looks.
Vasquez had also worked with him at a restaurant. Now, investigators working to determine how and when the gunman assembled his arsenal, which included AR-15s, body armor, and numerous magazines.
So what we do know, when he did make entry into the school and he was shooting children and adults and teachers, we did have several police officers that made entry and actually were met with gunfire by the suspect.
Authorities saying he shot his grandmother before he headed to Robb Elementary School and unleashed that deadly assault. That school, part of a district with robust security measures in place, including lockdown protocols, threat assessment teams, and a digital program to monitor social media threats. But the shooter allegedly leaving a trail of disturbing social media posts, hinting at an attack. Investigators now poring over the gunman's accounts, where he reportedly sent videos and photos of guns to other users, even images of animal abuse. As recently as Tuesday morning, an Instagram account believed to be connected to the shooter.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there because, number one, what's being reported is a straight lie. A straight lie. Whew. Okay. Let me make sure I got this straight. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, what they were saying was a straight lie. Number one, the police did not go in. They stayed outside. Keep in mind, when I said that they don't have a constitutional responsibility to save anyone's life. Now, I'm going to put my other YouTube page, Politics with Laura, my other YouTube channel, put that one in the description below so that you can see that. Because, look, I'm going to warn you right now. I lost it. So, just be warned. I wasn't prepared for all that. So the police did not go in at all. All those children and adults were killed. They were slaughtered. The parents even tried to run into the school to stop. The parents had more heart than the police officers did, but I'm going to leave that alone. Matter of fact, one parent was detained. The other one, the police officers used a stun gun on another one. I don't know what's behind it. I truly don't know, but okay. I did not mean to take that. I'm so angry. And this is the reason why. The boy had mental health issues. They were not addressed. Now, just like the mental health issues happened in Oxford, Michigan, when that boy, Ethan Crumbley, it got to the point to where the students didn't even want to go to school because they were afraid of him. The teachers did the job because they reported the situation. They reported it to the principal. The principal talked to the superintendent. The superintendent and the principal got on loudspeakers telling people that it was okay, it's safe to come to school. When it's so apparent to where they're telling students it's safe to come to school, and students are like, you're out of your mind. It was very apparent that Ethan Crumbley was having mental health issues. Now, it takes a lot for a parent to be able to get things done. The school had a lot of federal pull to get that boy some help. Just like down there in Texas, the school could have done more but did not. 19 people were killed? 19. And they're talking about all these safeguards. You notice they didn't say anything about mental health safeguards. Not a one. Now, let me point out who's the corporate of this. Ronald freaking Reagan. That peach back in the 1980s. Trickled down economics, trickled down in his pocket. I'm sorry. All right, mental health. Now, okay, the Mental Health System Act in 1980. Let me go ahead and do it like this. I'm going to show it here, and I'm going to look on my computer so I don't have to strain. All right, the Mental Health System Act in 1980. It's called MHSA. It was a United States legislation signed by Jimmy Carter, which provide grants to community mental health centers. Not mental health centers. Also, it provided money for mental health hospitals. Now, you had the hospitals to where people that really had issues can go there and get their mental health taken care of. Now, what Jimmy Carter did was he kept the hospitals, but also opened up community hospitals or clinics to where people that really did not need institutional stay, they were able to get assistance. But this is what this man did. Oh, man. I'm going to try to hold my peace. Community mental health in 1970. President Ronald Reagan, who had a major effort, who had major efforts during his governorship to reduce funding and enlist for California mental health institutions, pushed for political efforts through the United States Congress called the MHSA. Let me make sure I pull it down here. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, the MHSA was considered landmark legislation, mental health care. Now remember, he had to save some money. Coinciding with the movement during the 1970s for rehabilitation of people with severe mental illness, and the Mental Health System Act supported and financed community mental health support systems, which coordinated general health care, mental health care, and support services. The law followed the 1978 the President Commission on Mental Health, which made recommendations for improving mental health care in the United States, while improving concerns existed about the methodology of which the President's Committee, followed by the President's Committee. Forgive me, I'm not reading well at all. The report served as a foundation for MHSA, which in turn was seen as a landmark legislation in the United States mental health. Okay, I'm repeating myself. Okay. So, the Omnibus Budget Reconciliation Act of 1981, signed by Ronald Reagan on August 13th, 1981, repealed most of the MHSA. The Patient's Bill of Rights, Section 501, was not repealed. the congressional record and the Congress felt that the state's provisions were sufficient, and the Section 501 served as a recommendation to states to review and refine the existing policy. Now, how can anyone, any state be able to do that when wonderful Ronald Reagan took the money out? Right there is like that mangy No Child Left Behind Act, to where you don't fund the schools, but the schools are supposed to magically come up with, defund it, but make magic. That's what Ronald Reagan did, and this is the result of it. Took the money out and say, states, hey, do the best that you can with what you have. And now, because of this, now we have a lot of shootings going on. Now, when it was occurring, and let's back it up here. When Columbine happened, that was what, in the early 2000s. When Columbine happened, this woman said something rather interesting. She said, this does not happen in the suburbs. It only happens in the inner city. Well, when it was happening in the inner city, it was okay. But one thing that I was saying was, when you take a seed and you drop that seed, the seed is going to grow and it's going to expand. This could have stopped. More could have been done, but it wasn't. More people are becoming or exhibiting mental illness or mental illness behaviors, and it is spreading like a wildfire. Now, when the girl said, and that's why I told you to look at his face, she said that he cut his face, and she asked what was wrong with him. And he said, do you like it? Well, I didn't see any scars, but maybe he pulled an Amber Heard. I don't know. Okay, that was poor. That was a poor choice. But with the mental health being seriously underfunded, it's being exacerbated. Schools are not equipped, but can get the assistance because they have federal pull, because they receive federal monies. This boy is walking around. Maybe it was planned. Maybe there was, well, because his mother said that he was mentally ill up here. There was something wrong, but when she said it in Spanish, oh man, interpretations are very hard because, okay, I'm going to leave it as that. But the mother was saying that there was something wrong up here. Now, I would like to believe that his parents did not understand the rights that they had to help their son. I would like to believe that. And I'm going to keep it just right there, what I like to believe, because I don't know what they knew. I don't know if anybody sat down and said, look, your son is having mental health issues and you can get your child some help. This is how you do it. But I do know was that Salvador and his mother did not have a good relationship. It was, they had a strained relationship. The father left, went off, and started another family. He had a girlfriend and did what he did. Ooh, I'm trying so hard not to get emotional and angry. I would like to believe that the father was more involved in trying to support his child I'm sorry, I'm failing at this. I'm really failing at this because one thing that really gets me, two things: children and mental health. And when you see someone struggling and the only thing that kids can do is make fun of them and stay away from him, that only isolates him more. Ooh, this is harder than I thought. I'm trying so hard not to be emotional. Normally, I'm level-headed and jovial, but stuff like this, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about it, and we need to do more. And what I did recently, let me see, in January, I think it was January, I testified in the United States mental health. I sort of submitted a testimony in mental health, and me putting my 2 cent critique what more needs to be done. Because I have a vested interest in mental health. I look around in my area and I see a lot of people that are having mental health problems, and I help people whose children are having issues with mental health and help them, tell them, hey, you can do this. And not only do I say, hey, you can do this, I actually talk. I walk my talk, meaning if I say it, I'm going to help you. Not one of these people who flap their gums and walks away. No, I'll sit down and help people write complaints to the mental health judge, because here where I live at in the DMV area, you have to go to the courts and get a mental health judge, a panel, a mental health judge and 2 psychiatrists, and you see if you have a case, and then if you do have a case, then they go further. Yeah, it's a pain, and you really got to fight to get your family help. But I don't know what it is like in Texas, but not enough is being done. Now, I don't want to believe that this right here is a political move. Ooh. I swear I don't want to believe that politicians are that callous, heartless, and just straight out demonic. If they are at the point to where they're allowing people to get killed to push legislation. Now, guns. There's a lot of legislation out there for guns. Now, we don't need people running around there with AR-15s. No. Handguns, okay, protect your home. But not running around there with... Okay, I'm not going to argue the point on guns. I'm just going to leave that out of it. But what I will say is, I hope and pray that this is not what the politicians are doing. The two sides are sort of fighting back and forth, and guess who's in the middle? We are. Now, no, I said I wasn't going to go there. However, I would say to you, there is more that can be done with mental health. Please call your senators. Find out which senators are on the mental health committee, and pressure them to put more money in. Now, Donald Trump put, a couple of million, 10, 20 million, which is nowhere near enough, because there's a lot of mental health that's needed. They are busting at the seams. More money is needed. So if you can do that, that would be grateful. Email your senators, find out who your senators are. On the congressmen and the senators, get them on both ends. You have congressmen that live in your area, find out who they are, knock on their door, say, hey, do more for mental health. I voted for you, or if you want my support, do this. They'll do it. Now, they'll introduce it, but Everybody needs to press them to not only introduce it, but to get it passed. Law being introduced is one thing. It's only been introduced. Law being talked about, it's only being talked about. We're talking about passing it and implementing it, getting the tangibles. What can we obtain? What can we touch? That's what we need. I'm sorry, I'm being way too political, so let me ease back on the politics. Forgive me on that. This is the Big Girl Diary, not Politics with Laura. Yeah, I'm very political. So, let's go back to the story. It was alleged that he may have had help. I believe him. I believe it. Now his someone said that his mother or his father said that he couldn't drive. He didn't have a car. So that's a good question. Who took him to get the gun? That's the $1 million question. Who did? Where did he get it from? Because in Texas, there has to be a certain amount of time to where you have to go through a background check. That right there is federal law around the United States, unless if Texas is sort of like laxing their laws. Because there's a lot of laws. Like where I live, I looked into getting a gun, and I have to do several things before I could even get a gun license. And when I get a gun license, when I buy a gun, the gun that I buy it from will be sent to the police station, and then I will pick it up from the police station. I just don't go there, get it. No, they don't do that. So I have to not only apply for a gun license, I have to take classes, I have to learn how to shoot, go to a shooting range. There are so many things, so many hoops I have to go through. And then if I want to have a concealed weapon, wait a minute, we don't have that here. We can take the gun, we have to disassemble it, put it in a car, go to the gun range, then reassemble at the gun range, take it from the gun range, disassemble it, and then take it to the house and put it up. There are so many things. But however, I'm back to politics again. Oh, Lord, I apologize. Subscribers, please forgive me. Please take pity on me. Forgive me. Back to, did he have help? I believe he did have help. I believe that, and I can't prove what I believe. I'm just telling you what I believe. That he did have help. Maybe he was communicating with someone else someplace else, and maybe they're coordinating, and this is all conjecture on my part, coordinating, I do this here, you do that over there, and then we could compare notes. Like when you're young and you're not psychologically well, you're messed up here, the things you come up with that sound sane. For an example, a longtime friend of the family, he was having hard times, and my niece allowed him to stay with her. He said that somebody stole his socks. Just one pair. One out of everything he had, someone stole his socks. He was talking to people. Hey, let me go ahead and see. I think you have my socks. He wasn't taking his meds. And then he got into a physical fight with my son. And luckily my son was able to defend himself about his socks. He trying to check my son's socks. He's like, man, get off me. No, I don't have your socks. Then it turned into a physical fight, but he didn't take his medicine. But trying to get him to get help is really hard because he has a right to not take his medicine. I'm against that. You better take your medicine, because by you not taking your medicine and you're totally unstable up here, you're going to make life miserable for everyone else because you don't want to take your. All right. I've gone too long. But keep in mind, remember what the girl said. Remember what his friend said. He was friends with him for a long time, and then all of a sudden he starts saying some weird things, and then he stopped being friends. I really wish, look, if you're in school and someone is acting in a manner that is not normal, let someone know. This should not happen. This shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen anymore. I'm sorry. I'm starting to become emotional and preachy. So I'm going to back out of this. And please tell me your comments. Put something down there. If you think if you think I'm sort of talking out of the side of my neck and I'm taking this a little bit too far and maybe I'm putting too much on Ronald Reagan, that peach, then let me know. And if you think I'm right and I could have gone further, or even if you just want to say, hey, I think you have a point there. Whatever it is. Also, like, subscribe. And if you want to, if you're really into politics, go to my other page, because I got some I use a lot of international news, not so much news from the U.S., but I use news from international. Just check it out. Check it out, because I go deep into some things. And not conspiracy. Everything that I'm saying, I back it up with something. All right. I already said if you like my content, like, subscribe, leave a message. But most of all, to my supporters, I cannot thank you enough. I am so humbled and thankful that you find me, humble me, worthy of your time. I am beyond grateful and thankful. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. The love that I'm receiving, and I want to thank the lead attorney and his subscribers. I cannot thank you so much. My passerbys, even if you don't subscribe, press like, put something down. I would like you to subscribe too. But if not, but most of all, I want to thank all of you for stopping by. Thank you so much.